high school together. He was my best friend. We used to really torture him. and played ball together, and he was a great basketball player. And never was boastful. Didn't have any pride issues. When you compliment him, he just smile at you. That's good. He very respectful to his parents and a good friend. Can't really remember him saying anything mean about anybody. He was a kind man. Loved his daughters, loved his son, loved his wife. A good provider. He was a man's man. I was here on Wednesday before he died. I stayed here for 3 days. And not once, never did he ever say, why me? I can't believe this. You know, he just was, he had such dignity. And I hope when it comes my time that I can do it like he did. Reminded me of my dad. He was that ultimate respect with the man. And I know he's where he should be with the Lord.
You know, one of the true marks of a great man is not how his brother-in-laws like him, it's how his ex-brother-in-laws like him. And his ex-brother-in-laws, there's a couple, at least 2 in the audience today, they call him his brother-in-law, or brother, or, you know, one of them I know was his friend long before he was his brother-in-law. They found a couple of twins and became brother-in-laws. I'll just put it out. But anybody else like to say some words? Oh, Nate and I, yeah, we went out with Dave on a golf excursion, didn't we? I was on hole 5 the other day, and I couldn't help but think about Nate and me, how we were holding everybody up looking for a freaking ball. Okay, all right, it's your turn.
All right, so can everybody hear me in the back? So everyone's had a chance to spend some time with Dave in their life. Specifically, I got the last 5 years to interact with Dave and kind of see what kind of person he really was. I'd like to kind of go back to the very first time I've ever met Dave. I met my fiancée Ferris while we were in college, and she thought it was a good idea to go see the family, to go see the dad. So Dave's had a pretty big impact, and we certainly all looked up to him. I literally looked up to him. So when he opened the door, you know, I heard all these stories, you know, hey, Dave's 6'5", 240, 250. It was a little uncomfortable at first. I was certainly nervous. You know, obviously, as anyone that has kids, I'm sure you can understand, oh, what's this young yahoo coming down to date my daughter? So I showed up. He opens the door, you know, exactly what I expected. Yes, sir, I'll be home at 11 o'clock, don't worry. But over time, I certainly, that persona was not Dave. He was not the typical person that he looked like. The first time I saw him with his cat laying on the couch, his tiny little cat at the time was just a little baby, showing me his garden and all the things that he's growing. Certainly the picnic story that we've heard before, that was an interesting time, getting in the minivan that I certainly did not think that we were going to go visit and drink wine in. We show up and similar story, probably had a little bit too much to drink and we're starting to look on Yelp as us young people do. Oh, I wonder where we should eat. Oh, I got it, he said. Pulls out his nice picnic satchel and certainly had a very interesting evening. It was great. But one of the things that he definitely taught me in my life is he was probably one of the most caring people I've ever met. When I actually had the opportunity to call him and wanted to get his permission to marry his daughter, I was nervous. Probably second most nervous I've ever been outside of asking her. And I asked him, I wanted to make sure that got his approval before I said yes. And without hesitation, he told me, I want to welcome you to the family, and you absolutely have the opportunity to marry my daughter, but if you break her heart, I'll break your knees. I said, don't worry, that'll never happen.
Dave, and I will tell you about that. You know, one of the things I'm going to miss the most about Dave is we drove into work about the same time. We were early birds, and I remember whenever the phone was ringing, he answered, "What's happening, Joe?" And even the last few weeks, "What's happening, Joe?" In fact, I want to share a tender moment. I was sitting with Dave. He wasn't doing well. This is a couple weeks before, and Emma called. And he missed your call, but he thought he got it. And I remember he was struggling. It wasn't a good day for him. And when he grabbed the phone, he looked at it, and he said, "Hey, sweetie." And I just, anyway. So, good for you. A few words.
I don't know if I can face everybody and say it. I might face this way. I go back.
Way back, 100 years. Just say 100 years.
Since he started high school.
100 years.
We played basketball together, we played baseball together. We ended up playing softball with this guy when he couldn't catch. Dave caught on our baseball team. I played first base. He was a year younger than me. I guess I was supposed to be the star, but David never looked at it that way. We had little signs when we pick somebody off first base or something like that. Most of you worked with him, except for that little table over there. David is the #2 scorer at Mission San Jose in points as a basketball player in the NBAL. #2. Out of all them kids that played for 40 years, he's #2. And he used to play high post on our team, and I played forward, and another guy played forward, and we had our guards. I thought the guards would be here today, but we played in the Coliseum, lost our ass to Berkeley, you know. But in baseball, we won the whole thing. And David was. He never swore. He never pissed off. I don't remember him ever being anything but just glad to be a part of stuff. And we did a lot of things, even with Sousa. Sousa probably didn't tell you this. One time he had this Fairlane, canary yellow. Lonnie remembers.
Falcon.
Maybe Angie was there too, maybe Jennifer.
Ford Falcon.
What was it, Falcon? We got 11 people in there. And 11 people were there. And a couple we were at a cemetery. And we couldn't get out. We were just messing around. We were just kids messing around in high school. Anyway, the cop comes up and he goes, "Who's driving?" And you see this hand come up with people across him like this, and it was David. David was driving. And he goes, "What the hell are you doing?" He goes, "Oh, we just went for a ride." You know, but what we were doing is standing on the gravestones and stuff like that, and just being dicks like we didn't have anything else to do. You know, at least we weren't drinking and doing drugs. So that was, but David would just, he had a car and none of the rest of us had cars. So we'd all get in Dave's car, and he was great about it, you know, and we just, you know, I would look for him. You know, I'd drive my Mustang around and we'd go look, and Lonnie, the one with the funny looking hair over there, we all hung out at her house. And so I'd always go by there to see if Chappell's car was there. Because we played basketball at night too. We played intramurals. And then we got kicked out of Camp Parks, which is in Dublin, basketball team. They brought this big black team in there that was